In this video, you'll learn how to create a frequency histogram and a relative frequency histogram with Ogive. Now, in my other video, I show you how to do histograms in Excel 2016, which uses insert, a statistical chart, and histogram as an option. However, for folks that don't have 2016, this tutorial will show you how to do it in 2013. It's a little bit more cumbersome, but it's a good skill to have because you'll also learn how to do pivot tables. So let's first create our pivot table, which is going to do our count for us. So here I'm going to select my data, and there are 300 data points, just so you know. Once I select my data, I'll go to Insert, and here to the left is the Pivot Table option. Once you click on Pivot Table, a menu should appear, and it defaults to create your table on a new worksheet. I like to create my tables in an existing worksheet so I can see it side by side. So I'm going to check Existing Worksheet, and then I'm going to check this blue box, which will let me select where I want to put my table. I'm just going to pick an empty cell that's not overlapping any other text or data, and click the blue box again to bring me back to the menu. So now you can see it says, oh, you want to put your data in cell F1. Go ahead and click OK. And now I've got the shell of my pivot table waiting for me to fill out. So you look to the right, you have your menu for the pivot table. And recall that we selected the credit card account balance data. So what we'll do is we're going to click on this and drag it down here into the rows quadrant. So now you see every credit card balance from column B is now placed into our pivot table, each unique variable. We are going to select our credit card balance data again and drop it into the values quadrant. Now we want to do the frequency, so we want to count how many times a dollar amount or balance appears. But you'll notice when we look at our pivot table, it says sum. So Excel tries to be smart and guess what you want, and it assumes that you wanted to add up the values, but we don't. We want to count how many times they appear. So you'll notice though that here it says sum of credit card account balance. We don't want the sum, we want the count, because we're counting the frequency that a particular balance number appears. So what you'll want to do is you can right click on this cell and go to Summarize Values By, and you can choose I want sum, count, average, and other options. But in this case, we want count. If you didn't want to do that, another way, you could have just double-clicked in that cell, and a box opens up, and again, it gives you the same options. Do you want to add them up, count them, average? So you have a couple of ways to do the same thing. Now, what we notice, though, is our data, we have way too many, so we need to group them to make our histogram possible. So you'll right-click in this column right here of our different variables and choose Group. And so recall in our lecture that we have to determine the number of classes using the 2 exponent k must be greater than n rule. In this case, n is 300. So I've already used trial and error to figure out how many classes do I need. So I did 2 to the 8th, 2 to the 9th, and 2 to the 10th, and found that 9 is the smallest integer that satisfies my rule, where 2 to the 9th is greater than 300. After we find the number of classes, we have to establish the class width, where we take our largest number minus our smallest number and divide it by the number of classes. So we'll take the largest number of 1493 minus the smallest number of 99 and divide it by the number of classes we identified, in this case 9. That tells me that my class width is going to be 154.8888. So I can round it nicely to 155 and see how that works. So what I might want to do is, so what I want to do here is I'm going to change my starting value at 90 and my ending to 1500. Keep it simple. And so perhaps let's round up to 160 and see what happens. Now I've got 9 classes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you can see how when you're working with histograms, you can play around with this and see what works best, but ideally you want to make sure you follow the rules of thumb of how to figure out how many classes and the general width of it. Now, one more try. We could have left it at the smallest and biggest numbers and use that nice rounded number of 155. I'm just curious what happens. We see that we have our 9 classes, but the numbers are a little bit awkward because they're very precise. Just know, let's say you're presenting this data to people, having to read out the number 254 to 408 is awkward, which is why when I had it previously at the 10, starting with 90 and upward, it's a little bit easier to describe it when presenting data. So again, you have to make a judgment call on what works. Now that you've got your data set up like this, we want to create our frequency histogram. So I'm going to select my data, choose Insert, and check my column chart. And you might ask, well, that's not a histogram because we have gaps. You're right. So what we need to do, let me close this out. What we need to do is get rid of the gaps by right-clicking on the blue bar chart, choosing Format Data Series, and then here on the right, it's going to say Gap Width. So you want to change that to 0 and hit Enter. And that's how you now have a frequency histogram. We can format it a little bit more because I know we need lines so we can see the difference. So here I just right-clicked Format Data Series, chose my paint can and border. I want a solid line in black. So now I've got my histogram, and we'll call this credit card account balance frequency distribution. Or you can call it frequency histogram. Let's move on to relative frequency. Similar process, but there's some extra pieces I wanted to cover in terms of how do we calculate our data in Excel using functions so that you don't have to do it by hand. So the first step here is we want to total up our frequencies to see what our total number of observations is. So here we will enter equals sum parentheses and select my data, and then close parentheses and hit enter. That's one way using the sum function. Here's the formula right here to add up my frequencies. Another way to do it, I'm going to erase that, is I'm going to select my data that I want to sum up as well as an extra blank cell. And once you're in the Home tab, if you go all the way to the right, there's a button that says Auto Sum. Click that, and now it creates that same function of sum and adds it up for you. So 2 different ways: you can type in equal sum and select your data, or you can select your data and click on the Auto Sum button. In Excel, there are multiple ways to do the same thing. I'll try to show you 1 or 2 ways that will allow you to pick and choose what works best for you. Let's go ahead and calculate our data across the columns. So for relative frequency, recall to calculate that, we're going to take the count of our variable and divide it by the total. 2 ways to do this. You can do equals 0 divided by 38. I'm typing in the number 38, and I'll hit enter. Then I will select that cell, and you'll see a small dot right here, and you'll want to drag it down so that it carries the formula through the cells for you so you don't have to retype the formula over and over. It's nice. Save some time. I'm going to show it one more way using another level of the formula. So I'm going to clear this out. You can also do equals, select my cell, divide it, and select the cell that has the 38 that you want to divide it by. Note though, that you have to add some symbols to that particular cell of B9 so that it doesn't change. We want to freeze on the 38. So you will type a $sign in front of the B and in front of the 9. Okay. So this is how we can create our formula that's tied to particular cells. And if you hit enter, it gives us our answer. And again, select the cell and find the small dot right here and drag it down. And now you will get your relative frequency, where it takes the count of each variable divided by the total. Now let's go ahead and do the cumulative frequency. Remember, cumulative frequency, we are adding up the data from the frequency column in column B. So here I'm going to, whatever number of students took one course in spring 2018 would be used right here. So you can either type it in manually, or you can simply do equals and select the frequency. That way it's always tied to that cell. So if something changed over here, it will automatically update it over here as well. Now to do the cumulative, we're going to do equals, select the cell just above, do the plus or add button, and I'm going to select the next frequency. Then I'll hit enter. And what it's done is it's now added my previous frequency with my next frequency. So if I select that cell again and choose my dot, I can drag it down and it's going to add up all the numbers for me. Now you might not like all the zeros, so if you want to format it, you can. We would just select our data, and up in our home menu, we've got number right here, and there are decimal options. You can move to the right or move to the left, how many decimal places you want. So this will help you with rounding, for instance. So I'm going to leave it like that. We're going to do the same thing for the cumulative relative frequency, except now we're adding up the data in column C for relative frequency. So what you'll do is equal sign, select my data out of column C, relative frequency, and hit enter. It brings it over. Now again, I want to set up my formula. Equals the previous cell above plus the next relative frequency in the row. And hit enter. And then now when I select that cell and I click on the dot and drag down, all my cumulative relative frequencies appear. And so that's how you can use Excel to do the calculations for you if you don't want to do them by hand. And if you notice, the formatting here, it's not centered like my other columns, so I can also change the formatting by selecting my column, and up here in the home menu, choose center. So that's the center option right there. Okay. So now what we want to do is to create a relative frequency histogram with an ogive. So what you'll do is you can select the relative frequency, hold Control, and select cumulative relative frequency. Okay. So that's how you'll select two data areas and exclude other data that you don't want. Choose Insert. You'll select a column, and you'll notice this is not exactly what we want because we have to modify it. You'll right click on the orange bars because we want it to be a line, an ogive. So when you right click, you'll go Change Series Chart Type, and here where our orange data is for cumulative relative frequency, we'll change from column to a line with markers. Or you can have just chosen a line. Both work. And you also want to make sure to check secondary axis. Then you can hit OK. And now we've got our bar chart with line chart. But again, we want a histogram. So we have to get rid of our gaps. So you'll right click on the blue bars, check Format Data Series, and change the gap width to 0. And hit enter. Now we have our data in a relative frequency histogram with Ogive. You'll notice though we do have an empty class, and so that does happen sometimes. When we work with larger data sets and we group the data like we did on the frequency histogram, this will be less of an issue. If you have questions, let me know.